Good afternoon, students. And yesterday, our topic of discussion was questionnaire and observation. So those two methods, in observation, we need to do some design some tools or instruments to collect the data. So those things we will discuss today. So for an observation method, we need data collection instruments like checklist or rating scale or some diaries or anecdotes. So without those things we cannot collect or we cannot get information during observation. So the best two instruments used in observation data collection method is checklist and rating scale. So today we will discuss about it. So you have been seen checklist as a nursing student. Yes, when you do any procedure, so it is in the form of checklist only. So if somebody is going to assess your skill or performance, automatically it comes in a form of checklist. So checklist is not a new thing which is in the students, especially in nursing students. So we'll discuss about checklist or how to make a checklist, how to use it in observation methods. So checklist are nothing but several items which are related to a single topic, which are arranged in an order. We say it as checklist. So items which are arranged in an order related to a specific topic, and there will be a place to mark tick or yes or no. We say it as checklist. The checklist enables the observer to note only whether or not a character is present. So whether the person has this character or not, if you want to mark or if you want to document, we need a checklist. So if we see the definition, it is a simple instrument consisting prepared list of expected items of a performance or in characteristics. Attributes are nothing but characteristics of a variable. So if you are planning to assess some characteristics, so you make a list which you are expecting or the behaviors which you are expecting in the subject, and you go with the checklist and mark whether it is present or absent in the checklist. Checklists are constructed by breaking a performance and the quality of product which specifies presence or absence or of a character, which is then checked by the rater or a observer. So it is the same thing. A full performance is broken into sentences, and each sentences you will check whether it is present or not, and you will rate the person. So if we see what is the uses of checklist, of course the observations are done to observe skills, behavior, conditions, personality, manifestations or signs, mastery of particular exercise. That is mastery of a performance. If you want to assess, you need a checklist. So checklists are very useful for evaluating the skills, behavior, conditions, personality. This condition can be a personal condition or an environmental conditions. Manifestations, mastery of a particular exercise, or we can say the performance of any procedure. So for these things we use a checklist as a tool or an instrument. There are 4 common styles of constructing a checklist. So different kinds of checklists are there. You can construct as per Kempfer styles. What he suggests is there are 4 different styles you can construct. For example, if you are going to do a research on hand hygiene or hand washing done by the student nurses, so in that cases you need a checklist to see whether they are doing a proper technique of hand wash, or the proper available of items like hand washing soap, solution, towel, sink, those kind of things in the place. If you want to do all these observations, you need a checklist which is prepared before to do the research. So in that cases, how you can construct a checklist? There are 4 types of styles of checklist you can construct. The first one is arrangements. All the items you want for the situation, you write it in order, okay, and you make a list of items needed, and there will be a check mark brackets where you can put the tick. So the example I have given here is Observer may be asked to tick in the blank beside each activity. So washing hands, wearing mask, following aseptic precautions, following barrier technique. So each one, whatever has been observed, you will put a tick. So this is a simple checklist which can be prepared for all kind of procedures. The next form is the observer is asked to check whether there is yes or no. So there will be a question and there will be an yes or no options, and he need to just put a tick or circle yes or no. So example, does unit have disinfection solution in hand washing area? Yes, no. So there are two options given. The observer has to just encircle or underline or put a tick mark in the right response. The next form of checklist or style of checklist is all the items are being written in a statement. So everything what you are expecting in some behavior or characteristics or in the skill, you will write it in statements, and every statement there will be a bracket. If the statement is present in the candidate, you will put a tick. So example is the school function, the school functions as a community center. So you are just observing, you are going to the school, observing the school is working as a community center. So you put a check mark. So there will be positive statements, same like this, written related to the topic or a variable what you have taken for the research. So then you will put a bracket, empty brackets, and when you go to the school for the observation, you can put the tick marks. So this is another way of constructing a checklist. The next fourth form, the items are presented in sentences and the appropriate responses out of supplied responses is checked, underlined or encircled. So what we do here there is only checklist, whereas here the responses are given in terms. For example, the Student Nurses Association organizes various student activities. Here weekly, fortnightly, monthly, irregularly. So you can mark exactly what has been happening. So this is a little bit more specific form of checklist. You got it? So construction of checklist is of 4 types. One is just listing down the items and you will put a tick mark whatever you have witnessed. And the second thing, you just write the statement responses and you mention yes or no options and you will tick or encircle or underline the yes or no. And the next third style is there will be positive statements given, and whatever statements the people are achieving, you will put a tick mark. And in the fourth style, there will be sentences with appropriate responses. So specific responses have been mentioned and you have to encircle or underline the specific response. Next we will move on to construction of a good checklist. So when you are going to construct a checklist, if you want that to be effective too, how you can do it? The list of items in the checklist may be continuous or divided into groups of related items. So when you are planning to make a checklist, you should know first what is your research topic, and as per the topic or the variable you have to list down the items. That items has to be continuous or divided in groups, but it should be related. Okay, you can make simple sentences or you can make it under groups, but you have to make sure that it is a continuous one. Formulate the list of items on the basis of standard procedural guidelines. So whenever you make a checklist, you have to undergo or check whether your checklist is a evidence based with an expert guidance and a standard procedural guidelines has been as per the guidelines you have to make it. So as per the guidance, evidence and guidelines, you have to make the checklist. All items should be arranged in logical order. This is very, very important. The arrangement of the items or the list should be in a logical order. Express each item in clear, simple language. So whenever you make a checklist, make it very simple and clear in a easy language. Each item should assess or describe only one behavior, one criteria. Don't add up in a same sentence. Like for example, wash hands and wear glove. So this is two behaviors you are expecting. Don't do it in one item. So you have to make it like wash hands, wear gloves as a two items. So make sure that every statement or every item will describe only one behavior or one criteria. Avoid negative statements whenever possible. This is very important. Mostly avoid negative things in checklist. You are going to see whether are they following any of the right things. So just write what is being observed, what is positive, not a negative one. Okay, so always write positive statements or items in the checklist. Ensure that each item has clear responses. So make sure every item should have a clear response, yes or no, or whatever is being you are expecting. The responses has to be very clear for the observer. Reviews the items independently. So once you arrange all the items, review it independently and then complete and comprehensive list. Make a complete and comprehensive list, and before putting it in your study, do a pilot study or a trial run to develop or to find is there any problem with the list. So each item should be divided into groups, but it should be a continuous one. The list of items should undergo as per the standard procedure guidelines or as per the expert guidance or as per evidence based practice. All items should be arranged in logical order. It should be clear and simple in language. Only one behavior or criteria should be explained in each item. Avoid negative statements. There should be a clear responses mentioned for every single item. Review the items and then make a complete comprehensive checklist. So before introducing the checklist into your research study, do a pilot study or a trial run to confirm its appropriateness. This is how you construct a good checklist. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of checklist? Checklist allow inter-individual comparison. So if you have a checklist in your hand, you can compare the students or the subjects. So every individual you have the separate checklist, so exactly you can compare and produce your results so effectively. So you will have every item you can rate in a graph, like how many of them washed hands properly, how many of them are wearing gloves properly. So every item in a checklist can be compared with others. It provides a simple method of record observation. It's an easy method of observation technique. So if your idea is observation method, then make a checklist. You are ready for the observation. It is useful in evaluating learning activities. That's why we use commonly in with the students. Helpful in evaluating procedural work. So if you are going to assess a procedure, then of course it is a good tool or instrument. Properly prepared, it allows the observer to contain the direct attention. So observer is very clear what to notice if he has a checklist in hand. So he won't get distracted with the other things. He will just see what is in the checklist and he will observe the specific characteristics. Checklist have objectivity to evaluate characteristics. So as it is mentioned exactly what to see, the observer cannot have a bias here. Useful for evaluating those processes that can be subdivided into series of actions. So that is skills, procedures, you can use the checklist. Errors are decreased because of the checklist. So these are advantages and disadvantages. Of course there is possibility of disadvantage, very limited in qualitative research, because its observation is mostly used in quantitative research and checklists are commonly used in quantitative. And degree of performance, sometimes if the checklist is not prepared well and the scoring method is not exactly not properly mentioned, then there will be a problem. So if you are not preparing the best checklist, then it will affect your study outcome. So this is regarding the checklist. Checklist are nothing but the items which are listed, and there will be a place to put a tick mark or a check mark. And skills, where it is used to observe skill, behavior, conditions, personality, manifestations, that is signs, mastery, that is the procedural skills. Common styles, there are 4 common styles what we have discussed already, and how to construct a good checklist, advantages and disadvantages of checklist. Next we will move on to rating scale. So rating scale also you have seen in most places. So it is like a checklist, but the rating scale is more specific, where it has a finer discrimination of the responses mentioned very clearly. So if we compare checklist and rating scales are more better than the checklist, because it has an exact response which has been mentioned in the places. So rating is a term applied to expression of opinion or judgment regarding some situation. So if you want to observe some situation, object or characteristics of something, then rating scale is a best way. There are different types of rating scales. We will see one by one. Graphic rating scale. So there will be a number graph, horizontal line, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as it is shown in the example here. And for each numbers there will be a response or category, set of category has been given. Very low quality, neither low quality nor high, and very high. So these kind of specific categories will be mentioned for each numbers, and we say it as graphic rating scale. Graphic rating scale is of 2 types. One is constant alternative scale. It is the category for each item and each question will be the same. Okay, there will be lot of questions, and each question will have the same constant scale. Then we say it as constant alternative scale. Changing alternative scale, in this type there will be different set of categories. For example, first question will have very low like this. The second question will have other different things. So that is changing alternative scale. Hope you understood. Yes. So the types of graphic rating scale is of 2. If the categories what is mentioned below the numbers is the same for all the question, then it is constant alternative scale. And if the categories which is mentioned down are changing for every question, then we say it as changing alternative scale. The next one is numerical scale. Of course, as a nurse we know what is numerical rating scale. The best example is pain scale. Pain scale is it's a type of numerical rating scale. So it's easy to evaluate one character of a individual. So there will be a numbers like 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 or 10 to 100. Okay, and every statement will have numbers, and the the categories will be mentioned above, and the person can mark or circle whatever he feels like. So the best example of numerical rating scale is our pain scale. The next one is descriptive rating scale. Descriptive rating scale which explains detail the verbal responses. Here you can see excellent, good, average, below average and poor. So the statement will be given and the categories have been descriptively explained, not 1, 2, 3, 4. Plainly it will have some descriptions under each category. So even A, B, C, D, E is not there also, no problem, but there will be description will be seen in every point. We say it as descriptive rating scale. So rating scale is of 3 types: graphic rating scale, numerical rating scale and descriptive rating scale. How you can construct a good rating scale? Identify significant characteristics that should be rated. So you should identify what character you are going to make it as a scale. Clearly define the character to be rated. in scale points. So you should know how you are going to define your character. For example, good, bad, excellent, okay, very poor. So these kind of scale points should be properly planned. Avoid technical terms. Express the character as questions than the declarative statement. So when you make a rating scale, you can make a question form rather than a declarative statements. Instead of a plain statement, you can make a question form in the rating scale. If the line showing the continuum is used, if the line is used, it should be used immediately after the question. The rater should have a clear idea of so that the 1, 2, 3, 4, you can set some types of points. For example, a rating scale will have a 4-point scale, 5-point scale, 7-point scale. So it's nothing but this is 5-point scale. So there are 5 categories given, so it is a 5-point scale. So the researcher should know what type of scale he is going to prepare, and as per that he should describe the categories. It should be observable and concrete in nature. The characteristics what is being observed should not be more than 15. This is very important. So when you make a rating scale for observation, the number of characteristics you are going to observe should not be more than 15. The direction should be clear and comprehensive. Items will be arranged in ascending or descending order or left to right. In whatever way you can arrange it. Clear. Next, advantages of rating scale. Of course, it is used focused observation, very specifically behaviors. If you want attitude behaviors, you can go for rating scales. It provides a common frame of reference comparing all participants. So comparison will be very easy when you use a checklist or a rating scale. Efficient and economical in use. It is used to evaluate the performance, skill and product outcomes. So it is these things and all are same like a checklist only. It gives a comprehensive information, gives a very clear information about one character or one product. They can be helped to reduce the subjectivity and unreliability. So there is no subjectivity. Bias will be reduced in these cases when you use a rating scale, and of course it has a lot of wide range of applications. So these are all the advantages. It focuses more specifically the behavior outcome. It helps in comparison. It is efficient and economical. Evaluate the performance, skills and product outcomes. It gives a comprehensive information about one character. Reduces the subjectivity. Subjectivity is nothing but the bias. The observer cannot manipulate when you make a rating scale. And of course wide range of applications are possible in case of rating scales. What is the limitation here? There are some limitations, like the raters. The observer tend to put a tick mark generally and generously. Like he might have not observed or missed to observe the character, but he may mark a tick. Subjectivity element is present, of course, in all kind of research and tools. Of course, some kind of subjectivity is present. Some characteristics are more difficult to rate. Some of the behaviors or characteristics you cannot bring it under the rating scale. The categorization of the statement will be very difficult. Assumptions and judgments sometimes affects the raters. That is, raters are nothing but observers or the researchers. When they use a rating scale, they may assume or they may judge and they put a tick. There are 3 types of error happens because of rating scale: error of lenience, error of central tendency and error of halo effect. Nothing but the leniency, central tendency, he approximately put some tick mark in some category, or halo effect with the, for example, the first step will be done by the student very well, so he automatically puts everything tick. So that kind of errors can happen when you use a rating scale. So hope you understood the rating scale. It is nothing but as same like the checklist, but which will have a clear responses which is mentioned after the statement. It is of 3 types: graphic rating scale, numerical rating scale, and descriptive rating scale. And there, how to construct a good rating scale, advantages and disadvantages we discussed in the class. So go through the video and as well as the topic, and see you in next class.